Hello again. Every day I do things to just a variety of things that I have taken upon myself to make my wife's life easier, make just everyday things easier for her and stuff. And I kind of, I go out of my way to see that these things are done so that she has an easier time about things she has to do. Some days, my wife really pisses me off. And on those days, you know what I do? All those things that I have taken upon myself to make her life easier, it doesn't change. You see, it's because I love my wife. And love is action, not feelings. So then, I'm talking about the idea of love and such. Let's look a little deeper. Jesus said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Okay. So we see a tie between your actions in your life and love. He didn't say, if you have good feelings about me, you love me. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Well, because Jesus is God, all the commandments are Jesus' commandments. Let's look at the two commandments. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. We understand this is the expression of the character and personality of God. And the Bible gives us even more elaboration on that. Those two commandments are spelled out even further in the Ten Commandments. The first table is an expression of love the Lord God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second table of the Ten Commandments is love your neighbor as yourself. So to love my neighbor is to fulfill the second table of the Ten Commandments, my obligations in those Ten Commandments to that neighbor. If that neighbor is my wife, those obligations are different, and they involve things that my obligations to a neighbor that lives down the street, I would not have the same obligation to by those Ten Commandments. But let's look a little further, where it says in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt do no murder. The positive implication there is that I will positively seek out the safety and security of my neighbor's life. Where it says thou shalt not steal, then I am to positively pursue that my neighbor has full enjoyment and security of that which belongs to him. Jesus said the same thing, where he said that to look at a woman lustfully is commit adultery, and people act like they're in grade school when they interpret that. Thou shalt not commit adultery is the words in the command, framed in the negative. The positive implication is thou shalt seek. You shall put your energy toward the sanctity, the security, and the growth of your marriage. So if you're checking out other women, you're not putting your energy toward the safety, the security, the sanctity, and the growth of your marriage. You're seeking something else. And therefore, since you're not putting that positive force where it's supposed to go, not doing the positive implication, you've already violated the commandment. If I'm not seeking that my neighbor has full enjoyment and security of that which belongs to him, then I'm already stealing from him, even though I haven't taken anything yet. You see. So, when we apply this to everyday living, and to love my neighbor is to fulfill the second table of the law to him. If I'm sitting on a jury and I find this man guilty of murder and he's taken out and executed for this crime, I'm fulfilling the second table of the law my obligation in that second table of the law to that man. Therefore, to love that man who's on trial is to find him guilty and see him executed. Now, if your definition of love is so tied up in your feelings of the matter, then you can't comprehend that. But to love Jesus is to keep his commandments, and his commandments are the first table, your obligations to God; the second table, your obligations to your fellow man. So, love is action. The action of fulfilling God's law.
You'll be tempted, tried and tested. There'll be wars, the devil wins. But God's love is not a license to lie there in your sins. He understands the human heart. His mercy is complete. But his grace was not intended as a place to wipe your